I'm working on a book on funeral customs of the Arkansas Ozarks, and the time frame I've chosen is 1850 to 1950, because in that period of time, the way people dealt with death, whether it was dying at home or coming in after there had been a death in a community and helping your neighbor lay out a body, build a coffin, dig a grave, all of the customs that were practiced in the Arkansas Ozarks have, I would say, almost entirely died out with the advent of the professional funeral director. It's still possible to find, where neighbors might have dug a grave, or where certain traditions like Decoration Day are still very much alive. But the practice or the steps involved in taking a body and burying it were highly labor intensive. They really required the cooperation of a lot of people, a lot of hard work and skill, whether it's building the coffin, making the burial outfit, making the tombstone itself. And I feel there's still time to document this. So what I'm doing is writing about every aspect of death and dying. And I use 1950 as my cutoff because by 1950 everything was in the hands of the professional funeral director. In some instances funeral directors were in business much before then. The spa towns, Eureka Springs for example, had undertakers very early on. But in the rural areas, in the smaller communities, people were still taking care of their own dead well past World War I. Through the Depression and beyond, I say really up until World War II. And then with men going off to war, a population shift, etc., maybe some a little higher, more of an income that you could pay a funeral director, everything changed. Everything about the process was taken out of the hands of individuals in a community and was now in the hands of professionals. Whether embalming was involved or not, it was now done, everything was done for people, and they paid to have it done. So I'm writing a book on the many ways death and dying has changed in the Arkansas Ozarks, which is maybe a pretty narrow focus, but it's very hard for me to travel outside the Ozarks and to do the kind of research that would be involved in making it statewide or the entire Ozarks. So I've limited it to the 22 counties of the Arkansas Ozarks, and I have a wealth of information. I've had interviews, photos, stories, what I find on tombstones, what I find in museums, in libraries, on microfilm, in obituaries, in folklore. And I'm trying to weave all of that together into a pretty much beginning to end what the death and dying funeral customs would have been in a 100-year period.